Hi everyone. So we are continuing our discussion on chapter 4, and this time we will be looking at the next topic, which is on linear equations in one variable. So for this particular topic, we will be solving linear equations, solve linear equations containing fractions, and also identify equations with no solution or infinitely many solutions. So when we talk about a linear equation, okay, so it only has the variable x, and it could be written in such a way that it looks like ax plus b equals 0, where both a and b are real numbers. So when we are talking about solving an equation, pretty much we are going to determine all values of x that could make the equation true. When we substitute the value to x, it will make the equation true, and those numbers that we will get will be what we call as solutions or roots. So pretty much what we will have is that we will be finding equivalent equations that have the same solution set. So for example, as you can see here, 4x plus 12 equals 0, and also x equals negative 3. They are equivalent equations because if you replace negative 3 to the value of x here, you will get this equation to be true. So when we are working with solving equations, we pretty much have the different properties of equality. So this usually applies for addition and multiplication, wherein whatever you do, pretty much it sums up to whatever you do on the left side of the equation, you also have to do to the right side of the equation to maintain the equality. Okay, so if you added a number on the left side, you also have to add that same number on the right side. Pretty much whatever operation you do, so pretty like what we have here. So as you can see, in this case, we added 3 on both sides. All right. And if we have the 3 and the negative 3 together, that's going to be a 0. So here we can say that x is equal to 11. All right. So whatever operation you do on the left side of the equation, you also have to do it on the right side. So when we are solving linear equations, you will be following pretty much the same steps. All right. So you will always start with removing the grouping symbol. So that would be your distributive property. Okay. After you do the distribute, you'll do the combining like terms. And then when you combine the like terms, your goal is to isolate the variable. So it doesn't matter which side you want to have the variable on, whether it's on the left, on the right, it doesn't matter. And then you make sure that that variable will be by itself. And the last step will always be to check if the solution will make the original equation true. So let's have this example. So we have 2 times the quantity x minus 4 minus 5x is equal to negative 5. All right. So again, first step will always be check if we have any grouping symbols. Yes, we do. So we will need to distribute 2 to this group here. So we will have 2x minus 8. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Okay. Minus 5x is equal to negative 5. Again, what we did here was we distributed. Okay. We distribute to the group. And then what do we do next? Well, we can switch. We can actually switch minus 8 and minus 5x here. Okay, you can use that. Or you can already work with combining like terms. You can see that you have the 2x and the minus 5x. So if we combine them, that will give us 2 minus 5. That's negative 3x. Okay, and then you still have your minus 8 is equal to negative 5. So what we did here was to combine like terms, okay? And then now what we need to do is we want to make sure that the variable x will be by itself on the left side since it's on the left side. So what we can do here is we will need to transfer, we will need to remove the minus 8. So we always undo that operation. So what is the opposite of minus 8? So that would be a plus 8. So that this will become a 0. Now remember, with the addition property, whatever you do on the left side, you also do on the right side. So you add 8 on this side. So this is the addition property of equality. Okay, we added those numbers. And so now we are down to negative 3x is equal to negative 5 and positive 8. That's going to give us positive 3. Okay, and then here, we only wanted to have the variable by itself. Now, as you can see, okay, one thing that you have to remember is that the variable, most likely than not, is always multiplied with a coefficient, okay? Pretty much that's always the last stop. So please make sure that you do not read this. This is not minus 3, okay? This is negative 3 times x. And so to undo your negative 3 times, what we need to have is to divide it by negative 3. So negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. Okay, we divide this by negative 3. So what did we do here? Well, we had the division property of equality. So whatever operation you did, it's a property of equality. And so from here now, you have x is equal to negative 1. So this is your solution. All right? So that is pretty much how you will be able to solve or isolate your variable. So you can check, all right? You can always check if the value of negative 1 will actually make the original equation true. So going back, we replace that x, those x, with negative 1. And if you simplify, eventually it will become negative 5 is equal to negative 5, which is a true statement. So because upon checking the statement, the original equation will be true if we replace x by negative 1, then we know that the solution set of the equation is negative 1. All right. So again, no matter how complicated, how complex your equation would look like, you will follow the same steps. It will always be distribute, combine like terms, and then do your operations, making sure that the variable is going to be by itself. Okay, so let's have this example here. So we have several grouping here. So we will be doing 2 distribution, one on the left side and another on the right side of the equation. So this is 2 times x, which is 2x, 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6, and then you still have your minus 17 equals, this is 13. Now you have here a minus 3, okay? You got to remember that the sign in front of the number, whether it's a plus or a minus, also is the sign of that number as an integer. So when you distribute this is actually negative 3. You have to distribute to x and to positive 2, all right? So you have negative 3 times x, that's minus 3x. Negative 3 times positive 2, that is negative 6. So again, what we did here was the distributive property. So distribute, okay? Pretty much always the first step. So next thing we do is, let's try to simplify the equation. How? Well, we can combine like terms, all right? Now, as you can see, we have negative 6 and negative 17 on this side, and none of them have a variable, so we can combine them. So on the left side, this will be 2x, negative 6 and negative 17 together is negative 23. All right? Same thing on this side of the equation. We have 13 and minus 6. So if you have 13 minus 6, that's going to be a 7, and you still have your minus 3x. This whole process underwent combining like terms. All right. Now, you will observe that our variable x is found on the left side and also on the right side. So you need to decide where you want all the x's, all the variables on one side, all the constants on the other side. Okay, I know that a lot of you are so used to having the variable on the left side of the equation. So let's do that. So for us to be able to transfer this 3x here, we are going to undo the operation. So you can see that this is a minus 3x. So to undo this, we are going to add 3x so that this will become a 0. This is 0 now. Remember, whatever you do on the left side, you also do on the other side. So here, we also add 3x, okay? So now, we have a 2x plus 3x. This is a 5x minus 23 is now equal to 7, all right? And what we did here was the addition property of equality, all right? Now, we want only x on one side of the equation, so we need to remove our minus 23. Again, we undo the operation, so we add 23 to make this 0. We also add 23 on this side. So now we are down to 5x is equal to 30. So again, what we did here is addition property of equality. And for us, to make sure that x is by itself, 5 is multiplied to x. And so to undo the multiplication of 5, then we need to divide by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times x is x. We also divide 30 by 5. And so it is the division property of equality. And we can see here that x is going to be equal to 30 divided by 5, which is 6. And now you don't just stop there. You need to always, you need to always check for the solution if it is correct. So you replace the x value with a 6, okay? And when you simplify, you will see that, negative 11 is going to be equal to negative 11 as well. So this is just proof that x is really the value of 6. All right.